Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Commerce Compass, where I will be teaching cost accountancy, income tax, statistics and financial accounting. So stay tuned and subscribe for more amazing content. Let us start with today's topic, residence and tax liability. The total income of an assessee depends on his residential status. I repeat, the total income of an assessee depends on his residential status. As per section 6(1) of the New Income Tax Act 2025, the assessee may be classified into three categories. First one is resident and ordinarily resident. Second is resident but not ordinarily resident, and third one is non-resident. Now, which one is resident and ordinarily resident? Now let us discuss one by one. As per section 6(2), subsection 2, an individual to become a resident person in India in any tax year. Now there is a concept coming tax year. I will come later, but just know here the New Income Tax Act 2025 replaced previous year and assessment year by a new concept called tax year. The income earned in the year will be charged a tax at the rate applicable to that tax year, and income tax return will be filed immediately after following the tax year. Just learn at this stage that tax year, previous year is replaced by tax year. So in order to become a resident person in India, an individual has to fulfill either of the two conditions. He must have to stay 182 days in the 182 days in the relevant tax year. In the relevant tax year, 182 days or more in India during the relevant tax year, or 60 days or more during the relevant tax year, or 365 days during the 4 preceding tax year. So either of the two conditions, 182 days in the relevant tax year or 60 days in the relevant tax year or more, and 365 days during 4 years preceding the tax year. This is the basic condition. So one of the basic condition to be fulfilled to become a resident person in India. But here is an exception. So the exception under section 6(3) and 6(4). What is that exception? So first exception is if an Indian citizen or a member of crew member of Indian ship leaving India for employment purpose. In that case, only first condition to be fulfilled, that is 182 days or more days to be stayed in the relevant tax year to become resident person. Exception 2 under 6 subsection 4, an Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin coming to India for visiting purpose, in that case also 182 days condition to be fulfilled, that is to become an resident person in India. In that case also only condition A to be fulfilled. In that case condition B, that is 60 days or more during tax year and 365 days during 4 preceding tax year does not require. Okay. So now we learn that to become a resident person in India, one have to fulfill either A or B. But in order to become that resident person, to become ordinarily resident person, 2 more additional condition to be fulfilled, and both the additional condition to be fulfilled. So one has to fulfill 2 more additional condition under section 6 subsection 13 to become ordinarily resident in India. What are the 2 additional conditions? Resident, he has been resident in India at least 2 years out of 10 years preceding the relevant tax year, and he has been in India for 730 days or more during 7 years preceding the relevant tax year. That two more additional conditions to be fulfilled to become an resident person, to become an ordinary resident person. Now, sums it up. For resident and ordinary resident, one has to fulfill either of the condition as stated in section 6(2) A or B. Okay, that is 182 days in the relevant tax year or 60 days in the relevant tax year and 365 days during the relevant tax year. Either A or B under section 2 and both the condition under section 3 to become that resident person, to become ordinary resident person. Okay, now coming to resident but not ordinary resident. One who has fulfilled either of the basic condition under section 6 subsection 2, either A or B, but does not fulfill both the additional condition under section 6(13), both the additional condition fail to fulfill, then that person will be treated as resident but not ordinary resident. Okay, and in case of non-resident who failed to fulfill either of the basic condition, either A or B, that is 182 days in the relevant tax year or 60 days in the relevant tax year and 365 days during the 4 preceding tax year, he fails to fulfill either of the condition, he would be treated as non-resident. In certain cases, under section 6 subsection 5 and under section 6 subsection 7, this is exception 3, an individual may be deemed as resident but not ordinary resident, deemed resident, even if he doesn't satisfy the two basic conditions. Okay, even if he fails to satisfy the two basic conditions, he may be treated as resident, deemed resident, matlab resident but not ordinary resident. Okay, what are the conditions? Under section 6/5 read with subsection under section 6 subsection 5 read with section 6 subsection 13b, if 4 conditions are satisfied. What are these 4 conditions? He came to India for a visiting purpose during the tax year. He is an Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin. His total income during the relevant tax year exceed 15 lakhs except income from foreign sources. Okay. And number 4, he has been in India for 120 days. Remember this number, 120 days. So relaxation from 182 days. But more than 120 days but less than 182 days during the tax year and 365 days during the 4 preceding relevant tax year. If this 4 condition is satisfied, then that individual may be treated as deemed resident, that means resident but not ordinary resident under section 6(5). Okay, the 4 condition to be satisfied is an Indian citizen or person of Indian origin. Person of Indian origin means he or his either of his parents or either of his grandparents was born in undivided India. That person will be treated as a person of Indian origin. In that, this is called exception 3. In that case, if person satisfied the 4 basic conditions, he would be treated as a resident but not ordinary resident. Under section 6 subsection 7 read with section 6 subsection 13c, if 4 conditions are satisfied, an individual may be deemed as resident but not ordinary resident even if he does not satisfy the 2 basic conditions. If he satisfied the 4 basic conditions, 4 basic conditions are, and he is an Indian citizen, his total income exceed 15 lakhs during the relevant tax year, except foreign sources, exceed 15 lakhs during tax year. Okay. during the relevant tax year, except foreign sources. He is not liable to pay tax in any other country or any other region by virtue of his domicile, and he is not resident in India within the meaning of the section 6 subsection 2. If these four conditions are satisfied, then that individual will be treated as a resident person but not ordinarily resident. These are the basic residency rule under section 6(1) of the Income Tax Act 2025. Let us take an example for determining the residential status of an individual. So Mr. X left India for the first time on November 25 of the year 2024 for meeting his friend. During the calendar year 2025, he came to India on 1st September and stayed for a period of 10 days. During the calendar year 2026, he did not visit India at all, but finally came to India on January 16, 2027. Determine the residential status of Mr. X for the tax year 2026-27. Now, for this type of problem, for determining the residential status, when you are going to solve the problem, first start from the tax year. So try to calculate the number of days he stays in India in the tax year 2026 and 27. So here our tax year is 2026-27 from 1st April 2026 to 31st March 2027. It is clearly written that he stayed come to India on January 16. Start from the tax year. So tax year is 2026-27 from 16 January to 31st January. Calculate the days. The days is 75 days. He stayed in the tax year 75 days. Now we know that in order to determine the residential status, first determine the residency criteria, that is tax year and during the last 4 years preceding the tax year. So here are 2025-26, 24-25, 23-24, 22-23. Now 25-26, he first came on November 25, okay, 24, and he stays came 1st September and stays for a period of 10 days. On 25-26, he only stays for 10 days from 1st September to 10th September, only period for 10 days, and 26 he did not visit at India. So here is from September 25 to 10th September only 10 days, okay. Then 2024-25, he left on November 25th, 2024. That means up to 24 November 24 he was in India. So for in this year, in this financial year, from 1st April to 24th November he was in India for this financial year. From 1st April to 24th 11, that is, if you count it, it will come to 39 days. And these 2 years, first time left on this, apart from this year, beyond all this year, he was in India. So in this year 366 days and 22-23, 365 days he is in India. So this is the calculation before we going into any conclusion for determining his residential status. We know that under section 6/2, one has to fulfill the basic condition. Basic condition A and B. What is basic condition of A? He must have to stay in 182 days in the calendar year. But in the tax year. In the tax year, he only stays in India for 75 days. For that first criteria, he has not fulfilled. Now come to second condition. Second condition, he must have to stay in 60 days in tax year. He has stayed 75 days. That he has been 60 days minimum. He has been stayed 60 days, 75 days. So fulfill that part. And during the last 4 financial year, last 4 years, preceding the tax year, he must have to stay 365 days. Yes, we have seen that last 4 years he has stayed 982 days. 980 days. That means he has fulfilled the second criteria, B criteria, 60 days in the he has stayed 60 days in the tax year and 365 more than 365 days during the last 4 years preceding the tax year. So he is a resident person. Okay, as per section 6.2. Now, in order to become ordinarily resident, we have to judge 2 more additional conditions. What is the 2 more additional condition? He must have resided 2 years out of last 10 years. So he first time lived India on here. So beyond that, all the 10 years he was resident in India except 25-26. So first condition, additional condition is fulfilled. He lived in India 2 years out of 10 years. And second condition is 730 days during the last 4 years. So he is lived in 980 days. 730 days during the last 7 years. So he is already living 980 days. We have already calculated for first year. So second condition is also fulfilled. That means he is Mr. X is resident and ordinarily resident. He is fulfilled condition B. Condition B, that is 60 days in tax year and 365 days during 4 years preceding tax year. Okay, preceding tax year. He is resident person, resident and he is fulfilling both the condition. Both condition fulfilled. That is status is this. Mr. X resident and ordinarily resident. Okay, I think matter is clear to you. Thank you for attending the class. So hit the subscribe button to encourage for more videos.